check this out. The title of today's message is Functioning in Dysfunction. So I say that because me and the homie were talking today. Shout out Miss Wanty, shout out. Anyways, so we was talking today. We were talking about going to chiropractor because we go to the same chiropractor. So we were talking about, like, when you go to a chiropractor, I don't know if any of you guys have ever been, but basically what they do is they snap you back into place. Like, they get you back aligned, right? So he'll snap my neck back in place. Like, my shoulder's been messed up. He'll snap that sucker back in place. Back in place. Whatever. Like, you're just like, man, after you get done, you're like, man, I didn't even know I was out of alignment like that. So as we were talking, I was like, you know what? This really what the symbolism in that is. Sometimes, we know, like, cause even as I think about when I go to the chiropractor, like, my back be hurt sometimes, and then at one point I was lifting weights and my shoulder was just completely out of socket, but I still was trying to do what I had to do, but it was uncomfortable as just crazy. It hurt, but I still was like, yo, I'm gonna bust this thing on out. And so I didn't even know it was out of socket until I went to. So as I was talking, I said, the symbolism in this is this. Like, this is the same thing as, like, operating functionally in dysfunction, right? So even though certain patterns, when we're talking about dysfunction, we're talking about dysfunctional patterns. We're talking about maybe dysfunctional people around us. We're even talking about, maybe the dysfunctional relationship within ourselves. So things that we do possibly that are dysfunctional, right? So the thing is we talk about those things, let me be transparent here. Like, my dysfunctional patterns before were not speaking the truth, not standing up for myself and things like that, and just not willing to be vulnerable and things like that. Like, that was my dysfunction, just unwilling, right? And so, even though, like, for a very long time I was unaware of it, and then even sometimes I knew that it was uncomfortable, like, those were my dysfunctional patterns, I still functioned in it anyway, right? Like, I still function, just completely, again, what I always say, just completely out of touch, right? So, it was dysfunctional, completely uncomfortable, but yes, I still did it anyway, right? And the reason that I wouldn't move on it, because it would be too much more uncomfortable for me to change. Like, change is difficult. Change is hard. Anytime that we're reprogramming 30-some years of thinking, yeah, that's going to be a little difficult. But in the end, as we always say, it's always worth it. So, this is the thing. So, even some of my patterns was, I was operating functionally in the dysfunction. And so, sometimes you don't know. Like, you have no clue. You have no idea what's going on, and you just going, rolling down the street, whatever. So, this is the thing. This is, again, why it's important that we have the right people around us. So that's why we always have to take inventory, and we want to make sure that we don't necessarily engage in, our Fab Five being people. We want people around us. If we're talking about our Fab Five, we want them to be people who push us, people who lift us, because when we're engaging in those dysfunctional patterns, they're going to call us out on it. You want people around you who tell you the truth. You want people around you who push you. Push you beyond your limits, and they're going to tell you when you out of order. Like, one of my friends one time, she was like, yo, you wrong, bitch, you wrong. I didn't want to hear it, but you know what? I appreciated her honesty, because after that, I was like, you know what? She's right. I'm going to look at this, look within, see what's going on. And I was like, you know what? She's right. And so I tried to correct it. But so that's why it's important we have the right people around us when we talk about, they're going to tell us when we're at our dysfunctional patterns. Like, we engaging in those things. Because this is essentially what happens, The universe is wonderful. They always provide us warning signs. They always provide us with warning signs before there's a big disaster, right? So it's almost essentially when we are, when we're getting those warning signs, it's just like we driving down the street. Driving down the street, we see all these signs. Caution, warning, all these different things. And they're letting us know, like, they telling us. It could be plenty of things. Like, I'm sure that you can look back on your life and say, you know what, I knew this one, right? I knew it the minute it happened. I had all these feelings, but I just kept on driving down the street anyway. Like, I knew. Something told me I should have listened to myself. those are those warning signs. Those are those warning signs to say, hello, what are you doing? And yet, you know what happens? Here we go. Still driving. Oh, yield? Okay. Caution? Yeah, and we still driving. Still driving through dysfunction. We know it's not, we know something inside of our core, something, that intuition, that little voice is telling us this is not right, yet we continue to go in our dysfunctional ways and patterns. So, the universe always gives us signs. So again, that's why it's important that we have the right people around us. Now, the second thing is when we talk about dysfunctional patterns. Like, these are behaviors that we're engaging in, and once we've been warned and we know what's going on, now we got to do something about it, right? Now, how do we work on these dysfunctional patterns? The main thing is we have to do our work. So when I say do our work, the other day I was talking about, our issues and our stuff, they're in the pantry. They're a mixture of all the experiences that we have had throughout our entire life. Like, everything that that has happened to us, things that we've experienced, they make us who we are. And then sometimes, it just rise, our little issues, they rise onto the top, right? Like, I got issues, you got issues, everybody that we will ever contact, they always got that little pantry full of stuff that they've experienced that make them who they are. So we have to do our work. We got to dig in that closet, that pantry, and we got to work through those things. We got to get to the core of it. We got to work to the bottom of it. We got to ask, why did I do that? Where is this coming from? All of that. So that we can work on those dysfunctional patterns once we are aware of them. So, again, the thing is, when we start talking about functioning in dysfunction, we have to be willing to take the risk, right? Sometimes we think that certain things are okay, but we know in our core, we know in our center, like, they're not right. It doesn't feel right. Some of the things that we're doing, some of the things that we have, some of the people we have around us, all of that, we have to take inventory. So I challenge you to just take inventory of what's going on for you right now. Do I have the right people around me? Is this dysfunctional that I'm engaging in? Do I have the right relationships that I'm in? Am I engaging in dysfunctional patterns? Am I having a dysfunctional relationship with myself? Because sometimes we think that it's okay, so that's why we have to take inventory and check in. And then I challenge you to take the next step. And then once you realize, if you're engaging in dysfunctional patterns and things like that, hey, let's do something about it. Let's get in that closet. Let's get down to the dirty. Let's own it. Let's get accountable and responsible and do what we got to do. So, please subscribe, please share, because guess what, baby? It's all love. But it's the Dorky Jock signing off, baby. And I'm out.